extremely, these classes are very powerful. And, you know, people, I say they're from all over the world here. And it's an opportunity for all of us through the use of technology to really go deep inside ourselves and open to a much higher force of energy in the universe. You know, I don't understand much about technology and I really don't care. All I know is that this works and it's been working for a long time. And I'm happy to see that many of you are truly taking advantage of it, using it to grow in your life. And I think that is the key to all this. It's not, you know, has nothing to do with social, you know, contact and any of this other stuff. It's simply an opportunity for all of us, you know, living in a very crazy world to use what's available to build an inner life, to get connected with spirit. And to truly, you know, develop in ourselves the capacity to open to God, to open to spiritual enlightenment. That's all this is about. And honestly, it's the only thing I teach. I'm not interested in so many other things that have to do with religious practice. And I'm interested in simply people building a system inside themselves that's strong enough, you know, for them to get a connection with higher energy and to use that connection in their daily life so that everything about their daily life becomes more conscious, more open, more balanced, you know, and that's the key to all of this. We work out our karma, we learn how to live in the world with love, with compassion, and we connect with spirit, which frees us from the world. These two things are integrated, they go together. They're not separate from each other. And the deeper we open and the more we develop inside ourselves, the stronger this experience becomes. To see that there is no separation between living in the world and connecting with God. It's all the same energy. Everything in life is a manifestation of spiritual energy. The only thing that's missing is human consciousness, because we spend so much time in our minds and our heads and our emotions and so wrapped up in all the chaos inside ourselves that we miss this simple reality that there is no separation between the human and the divine. Our job is to develop the highest levels of what it means to be a human being. And that's simple. It's not a very complicated equation. You know, what's simple about it is happy people are enlightened people. People that live with their hearts open, with love, with compassion, you know, people that can live that way. They become children of God in the world and they truly attain a state of enlightenment. The work of this meditation is just to build a system that's strong enough to do all these things. That's what Rudy left here. That's what Rudy did every day of his life. He worked on himself to build a system that enabled him to do exactly what I'm talking about. That there was no separation between the human and the divine. It's all one. So please, everyone, try to work really deeply inside. Try to open really deeply inside. You know, we'll have a meditation class. If anyone has a question they would like to ask.
Stuart?
Yes, wait, everybody try and sit still until the class is over. Do the meditation because even the talking is Shakti. It's just energy. And if people are moving, it really disrupts it, not only for them, but for everyone else. So try to keep that discipline until the class is completely over. Another 10 minutes or so. Yes, Larry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sure. Can you talk about more about, as we go deeper, our understanding and perception of time, how that will shift?
Yes, I mean, look, it has to shift because, You know, the deeper you go into yourself, the more you connect with what's infinite in the universe. Ultimately, to arrive at a place inside that one transcends, you know, time. You go outside the realms of time and space. So your whole perception has to change. The way you see the world, how you communicate with other people, you communicate from a much deeper place inside yourself. You're capable of, you know, absorbing all that negative energy that it lives on the surface of each and every human being, you know, into the chakra system and turning it into a spiritual life. So the whole capacity to communicate changes. The whole way you really see time changes. The whole way you see the world changes. Mostly people see outside themselves a reflection of what's in their own minds. You know, and if the mind is quiet, the heart is open, we're balanced inside, you know, we see a different world. We're not seeing, you know, we see the chaos, but we're capable of detaching ourselves from it and seeing a much deeper reality that everything in life is a manifestation of higher energy in the universe. That can only come about if we stop living on the surface, if we stop involving ourselves in all that psychological and emotional and sexual tension that exists on the surface that controls the lives of almost everybody. So the whole purpose of going deeper is to commune with energy that has no limitation, that's infinite. You're going to the fountainhead of all creation. And if you do this, and that fountainhead exists inside every single human being. And if you do this, you know, your perception of the world has to change. Your heart is open. You understand? So what you perceive, yes, human suffering, human difficulty, the pain, you know, all that stuff, but one sees it with compassion and not judgment and anger and fear. One sees it with love. One sees a whole different kind of reality. And we recognize that the hunger and starvation in other people is really the spiritual starvation that exists in all of us, you know? And instead of being angry at people and upset and judging them, you know, we see them with compassion because they are a reflection of what goes on inside each and every one of us. All the wars in the world, really every human being is fighting a war inside themselves every single day. And what we see is a reflection of that going on, being acted out and played out. Rudy used to call it the big soap opera of life that's being played out in front of us, you know, which is just a manifestation of the war that's going on inside every single human being. So the whole purpose of developing the chakra system is that we can absorb and transform all of that negative perception, all of that stuff that exists on the surface, you know, into a strong chakra system. That strong chakra system gives us the capacity to see and perceive life in a completely different way. We're no longer intimidated by all the bullshit in the world. We're no longer intimidated by our families, our job, the people in our life. You know, we really are, you know, have the capacity to deal with all this stuff and not allow it to disconnect us from the most important thing of all, that's being connected to higher energy in the universe. Otherwise, we have chaos. We have inside ourselves the exact chaos that we see in the world. So, you know, for the chaos to change in the world, human beings have to change. You know, 7 billion people are not going to change. That's why we have 1,000 lifetimes to do this, you know? I mean, time gives us as many lifetimes as it takes to finally see reality, you know, but we can change. You know, as they say, you know, many are called, few are chosen. You know, one can be chosen only if they change inside themselves, not because they're Jewish or Christian or, you know, Muslim or No, none of that matters. People have to change inside themselves. They become one of the few chosen to truly be a child of God living in this world. That's the kind of perception that we all should really relish and want. But it doesn't come about unless we develop an inner life that is strong enough to be able to live consciously in the world and to be free of the world at exactly the same time. Human being is nothing more or less than a point in a triangle that connects life, karma, everything in the world with spirit. And the reason why it doesn't work in most people is that the whole inner life is disconnected. It's just full of chaos, emotions, mind, anger, fear, et cetera, jealousy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if that controls a person's inner life, how the hell are they going to be a child of God? They're a child of their own ego. They're a child of their own insecurity, of their own fear, of their own anxiety. So it doesn't work. And, as Rudy told me over and over, it takes work. You've got to work on yourself. I used to sit around him and watch him just work so deeply on himself that to me it was totally amazing. I would just sit there and take in the Shakti, the energy. It was so powerful. And I was so grateful to be there and to be able to receive what he was giving me. And anyone, well, I wouldn't say anyone, but most people can do this because everybody has a chakra system. Everybody has all the tools to do this. And what are the tools? The mind, the breath, the need to have a spiritual life, the will to do it. We all have that. Whether or not we use it or not, that's another story, It's a whole other chapter in the book. And of course, if you do use these tools and develop what I'm talking about, the way you perceive and understand the world changes. You have patience with all the bullshit. I was at a conversation with God. I said, look, I can fix me. I can fix the couple of dozen people that come and study with me. I can't fix this world. That's your job. And the job is provided because we're given as many lifetimes as it takes to finally come to this realization. And that's what's incredible about this world and time and everything else. We are given as much time as it takes to truly evolve and basically to become happy people. Sometimes it takes 100 lifetimes just to become a happy person. Happy people are enlightened people. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And I didn't learn all this in, the first 200 classes I went. I mean, this is years of working on myself, taking huge situations on myself that forced me to go deep enough to tap this kind of energy. And frankly, when I sit and talk about things, I listen because it's not me talking, it's this higher energy that's coming through that talks. So one has to take it inside, open to it, receive it, let it work on you. Day and night, it will work on you. And that's what's amazing about this. This energy works on us all the time if we are strong enough and open enough inside us to receive it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And it's like a kid, Children are not afraid to experiment with life. Adults are. But children, you know, everything is an improvisation. Wonderful. Everything is an experiment. Everything is learning about the world. We have to find that child of God inside ourselves so that we can live in the present, in the now. Because that really is the key to all of this. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? I hope it's clear what I'm talking about. I don't.
Stuart.
Yes.
What can I do to open more?
Excuse me?
It's me, Marcia.
I don't understand what you're saying, Marcia.
What can I do to open more in this spirit?
Just have patience with yourself and honestly take it a day at a time. You know, don't project some life that you think you want to live in the future. Take each day at a time and do, work, and take it a step at a time. And that's the best you can do for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself crazy. Oh, I should be like this. I should be like that. You're just as you are. And from that place, you can move forward. So the thing is to just get strong enough inside yourself to accept yourself as you are in this moment. And then through deeper and deeper inner work, you take a step and another step and another, and your whole life begins to change. A whole different perception of the world. That's an amazing thing to do, because otherwise you make yourself crazy. I should be that way. Well, everybody should be Jesus Christ. Everybody should be the Buddha. The rest of us live, a football field behind these incredible saints and incredible beings. And we need to work on ourselves and learn from these beings how to get closer and closer to that oneness with God. So have patience. You're doing very well. I've known you for quite a while now. And I remember the day I met you and I see you today. God bless you. You've come a long way in your life. So just accept your life as you are today and do your work and move step forward, a step at a time. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, God bless you all. And look, in all humility, I just want to thank everybody for being here. I do this every time, but I mean it every time. It almost brings a tear to my eye that I can sit and teach this class to people that are living in the Middle East, in Brazil, in Norway, and France. I mean, it's amazing that this kind of teaching and transmission can take place in the world. Is truly a miracle. And frankly, when this COVID thing started, I had no idea what I was going to do. I thought, oh my God, Stuart, and all of a sudden this has taken place. And it comes because one needs to grow. One needs to find ways to serve God in the world. And this is an incredible way. And I'm very grateful to every person who shows up in these classes and really takes advantage of it. And God bless you all. And there'll be another class on Thursday. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. So have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending upon where you are. And I will see everybody hopefully on Thursday. Bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.